Hey everyone, it's Rex over at Dynamic Forces. Join us this Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, on The Experience with me, Rockin Robbie, and my buddy John for comic talk and some great slab comics, signed comics, and cover sketch art by Ken Hazer and others. So join us Monday night, 6 to 8.
Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. This is the show where we gather on Sunday night and we talk about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. And I'm excited, exhilarated, thrilled even, because I couldn't think of another word that started with E right off the dome. But super pumped to be here tonight for a fantastic show. Happy Father's Day to all the hip, cool daddies out there, and happy Juneteenth as well. So glad that you are here. I'm glad that I am here. We got a great show planned for you tonight. When you jump into the stream, throw out a station, throw out a hella pop, pop, boom. Let's just get this party going. What do you want to talk about? Because we do have a grandiose plan. But this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. Get them in right now. What do you want to talk about here on this Sunday night? I appreciate everybody being here. I want to say you can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, you might as well follow us there. We're on Instagram as well. And of course, if you want to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there. We really do appreciate it. Or with Super Chat, but just being here, liking, sharing, subscribing, and participating in the conversation. That is support enough. That's all we really need. And it's more than we've ever dreamed we could have. So thank you so much for your attention tonight, I guess. We got a great show. We got the first 5 coming up. We got the Pick of the Week conversation. We'll be talking about our favorite comic books of last week. Then we will be looking ahead at what's coming up in comic shops this week, including the DC sneak peek. DC's got books out this week, believe it or not. I've read them. We're going to talk about them. And then my next step in this long journey, but arduous it is not, of getting into Hong Kong cinema, guided by Sifu Bullseye Bob, is Tai Chi Master. I'll be talking about that tonight, starring Jet Li. Then we'll have an Image in the 90s bit, and I already told you last week that we were going to be covering the second issue of Jim Lee's Wildcats, so that will be tonight. Then we're going to be revealing the Action Fest lineup for PCP Movie Night. That's right, I'm revealing the lineup publicly tonight, and then we're taking suggestions for the poll. So you definitely want to be there, because the first 10 suggestions I get that I don't veto, and I only veto because I have plans to do it or we've already done it, typically. But first 10 movies I see, when the poll time comes, that's later on, after the Action Fest reveal. Then we'll be talking about our top 5 movies of 2007. We'll be totally talking Turtles tonight. Then with a little bit of show and tell and the final 5, and that will be the show. How is everybody doing? Let's see who's here. GT Key Comics first in. Artist formerly known as Jesse Say What, says station to people all over the world. Yes, thank you so much for being here. And if you're, where are you from? Shout it out. Where are you from? Jorams is in the house, said, I can hear the intro music. Station. Road Collecting, what's up? Josh is in the house. He says, happy daddy day to all the big papas out there. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Evil Face Bad says, station, I'm here for Dr. Horny Fingers. Trenton's in the house. Kirby's in the house. Pop, 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 pop. Boom. That's right. Stand up and show us your banana hammock. Well, no one's trying to get into that. You know, if I knew it was that kind of, if I knew it was going to be that kind of party, I would have stuck my dick in the mashed potatoes. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, we got Twitch in the house. Went out for the local Pride event this weekend. I am so sunburned. My 2 weeks off from work has ended, and I got to go back to work tonight. Back to the grind till September. Well, good luck with that, Twitch. I hope you had a good time. William in the house. Trenton's finally getting off of work in time to catch show start. Well, hell yeah. Station from NOLA. Twitch says, shout out Nebraska. Hell yeah. Do so. Also, check out popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts, blogs, and a whole lot more. Let's see. What's coming up here on the channel tonight? Or what's coming up here at PCP this week? First of all, we got the Rockin Robbie tour is coming to a town near you this upcoming weekend. I will be in Charlotte, North Carolina for Heroes Con. I'm so freaking pumped for this show, y'all. I am beyond excited. It is this upcoming weekend, so sadly, no Rockin Robbie Live next week, but don't worry. There'll be plenty to talk about when we return. Saint Maud is the movie of the night for PCP movie... blah, blah. Let me start that again. Saint Maud is Mike's pick for PCP movie night on PCP movie night tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time. This was a really cool movie, and I'm excited to talk about it. Then, of course, Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, we'll be talking about Miss Marvel Episode 3. It will have debuted that day. Me and the PCP Army Bad Batch will be there. We've been having a great time watching this show and discussing it. And Dylan's Horror Show will be Saturday evening. I will not be there, but they will be talking about Eaten Alive by Tobe Hooper, a movie I've never seen. But it's all right. I'll have to catch it on the rewind. So how is everybody doing? So I already talked about Miss Marvel a little bit. If you watched that show, you know I liked it. I liked it just as much, if not a smidge better than the first episode. I thought it was really solid. I gave it a 4.5, you digs, again. I gave the first episode a 4.5. I gave the second one a 4.5. I wasn't expecting much out of this show. And I saw a news article, and I don't know how true these things are because I didn't read the fucking article. But it was suggesting that this is the lowest viewed show so far in the MCU, which makes sense to me because this is a brand new character. Now, obviously, Moon Knight was a brand new character too, but there's a lot of people that were really excited for that. Plus, you get the weight of Oscar Isaac. But apparently, Miss Marvel is not being viewed as much as some of the others. Well, I think that strong word of mouth is going to spread because all of us that have been doing that show on Wednesday, and none of us had any horses in these races to begin with. Okay, let's be honest. And we're all digging it, and it's not even intended for like, it's targeted towards a younger audience for sure, but I'm enjoying it. So I want to know, 2 episodes in, what are you thinking about Miss Marvel? Are you digging it? Are you hating it? I really like it. Fable's in the house. Pop, pop, boom. Happy belated birthday. Fable's birthday was yesterday, so happy birthday. Happy Father's Day to Big Daddy Fable. And by the way, we are the official after party for the Blame Fable Tonight show, which just wrapped up over on Instagram. Fable's one of those dudes joining me on the Wednesday night streams about Miss Marvel. We're all digging it. Hit or miss Marvel so far? For me, it's... Now, I don't know if it's a hit as far as... We'll see how it goes. But like I said, I don't know if you heard this, Fable, but apparently Ms. Marvel's not being viewed as much as some of the other MCU shows, which to me makes sense because it's a lesser-known character and a lesser-known performer, right? So you don't have the Oscar Isaac or the recognition of something like Hawkeye or Loki, right? So, and Loki had the star power and the character power. But Ms. Marvel doesn't have that, so it's up to us that like it to let people know that we like it, because I see a lot of people not liking it, and I don't think they're watching it. But who knows? Who knows? Any plans to go to New Orleans Fan Expo in January? No plans yet, Trenton. I haven't really thought about the 2023 tour season yet. I thought a little bit about how we're going to wrap that up, so I got grandiose plans for 2023 with the Rockin Robbie tour. January, I don't know, maybe, because we'll have the expo at, I don't know, I have to see who's there. If it's a very enticing list, and I know that Frank Miller's doing Fan Expo appearances sporadically, so that would be really, if Frank Miller's there, I probably, but no plans right now, so we'll have to wait and see for that. The rest of the plans will be, Memphis Comic Expo, they got a fantastic lineup there. Just go look it up. James O'Barr, Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder, Liana Kangas, Kevin Nolan, Kyle Hotz. I'm forgetting names right now. There's a Dan Bryerington. Like, freaking an awesome lineup for that. That's going to be freaking dope. And then after that, Scarefest in Lexington, Kentucky. A fantastic lineup for that as well. Robert Englund, Kane Hodder, Linnea Quigley, Bill Mosley, Felissa Rose. Do I need to say more? Because there's more. There's more. There's even more. Tom Matthews from, what is it? Friday 13th, Part 6. Jason's Alive. Is that what it's called? Why am I tripping right now? Jason Lives. Jesus Christ, Jason's Alive. Why could I not think of that? Jason Lives. Smoked too many brain cells. Oh well. God damn it. Starting the show off great tonight. All right, let's see the chat. Josh says, loving Miss Marvel. The tone is a real breath of fresh air after the more standard shows we've seen. I agree with that. I really like the style of it. William says, I agree with you. I've been enjoying the Miss Marvel show. Hell yeah. Evil Face Bad says, Miss Marvel, who? I'm watching that Obi-Wan baby Vader scary again. We'll get to that in a second. William says, Miss Marvel's a fun show. Lead actress is killing it. Yeah, Aman Vellani, I believe. Fantastic. Trenton says, Miss Marvel's greater than the Eternals. We don't necessarily need to compare it, but you're 100% right about that. I'll tell you that. Fable says, I see more likes than dislikes on Miss Marvel so far. Hell yeah, that's what I've been seeing too from people that I've been talking to. Twitch says, I wait for a couple episodes to build up before I watch. I lose interest if I have to wait for each episode. Fair enough. I understand that. Josh says, it's also not tied into the bigger universe as much. I've stuck with other Disney Plus shows I didn't like just to see bigger things like Loki for Kang. Absolutely. Trenton says, NOLA Fan Expo is the same weekend as my birthday. Well, station. And Norman Reedus is scheduled to be there. I was at a Nashville con once that Norman Reedus was at. That doesn't really, I don't know. I really like comic book creators. So like the ones I go to are usually like just a bunch of comic book creators. So that's the lineups that really get me pumped. So when I start seeing those lists, I get really excited. Evil Face Bad says, when you mention Greg Capullo, my whole body just levitated for a few seconds. Bueller just did a panel with Greg Capullo and got like a picture with him and everything. It was dope. My biggest regret about the expo this year and here in town was that I didn't get a picture of me and Kevin Eastman. I didn't get one of me and Jim either, Jim Starlin, but it's okay. That was like very quick in and out thing. But the Kevin Eastman thing was dope. That was awesome. Tomorrow Cinema's in the house. What's up, Manny? What's up, Eric? The stash. All right, let's officially kick things off with the first five. And we're still going through the Blu-ray collection in the S's. First up is Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl-O-Rama. This is a movie that I absolutely adore. It's really fun, kind of charming. It's got some dumb bits. It's got some cool puppetry effects. But overall, I really like it. A strong performance by Linnea Quigley. I love this movie. This is one of my favorite performances by Linnea. I mentioned this when I met her at Scarefest last year, and she fucking lost her shit because this movie is awesome, and apparently she really likes it. So we're going to be covering this on Dylan's Horror Show coming up. In fact, we're doing a full moon double feature like we did before with Creepazoids and Head of the Family, but Dylan can't quite pick his pick. He's narrowed it down to 5 choices. We'll be doing a Dylan's Horror Show poll in the PCP Army next week, and he just sent me the list for that. But Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl-orama. Then we get Southland Tales. We were talking about this last week as my number 1 movie of 2006. That's the newly released Arrow edition, which has the can cut as well. But I love this movie. It's from Richard Kelly, the guy that did Donnie Darko. We did a PCP movie night for it last year on my birthday, so check that out, or near my birthday. There is my Spider-Man trilogy. They are cased all together, right? So they count as one. So, but this is 1, 2, and 3, the Sam Raimi trilogy. Love these films, even part 3. I do like, and I enjoy watching part 3. I don't enjoy watching this one, but I have it, and I have its successor, Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2. I hate these movies. I've never liked these movies. I try to sell these movies at my local used media shop, and they wouldn't take them. So I was like, well, I guess I'm fucking stuck with them, but it's okay. They're still Spider-Man movies, but there is the conclusion of Verse 5. All right, let's get into it. What year are we on for movies? Need to get my list ready. We're in 2007 tonight. We also got the rest of the Blame Fable Tonight crew, Missing Link, and Big Herm in the house station. Got to catch a little bit of your show, not too much. I haven't seen Ready Player One. You've been doing these movies I haven't seen. Apparently, I haven't seen a lot of modern movies, which is funny to me. We got Moni in the house. What is up, Moni? Baymet says, Miss Marvel, 5 out of 5. Hell yeah. The other show that I'm keeping up with right now is Obi-Wan. And I'm enjoying Obi-Wan. Here's the thing. When I say I'm enjoying Obi-Wan, what I really mean is that I don't feel like I'm wasting my time watching Obi-Wan, because I'm soaking up this amazing performance by Ewan McGregor, right? I like Lil Leia. I know some people are annoyed by her, but I really like her. The third sister or whatever, there's not a lot of charisma there as a villain to pull me in. And so then when we do the twist that we're trying to do in the last one, it doesn't win me over and it doesn't work. But the rest of the villains, the rest of the rest of the Inquisitors and Vader are fucking awesome in the show. It's cool to see Vader be fucking Vader again and be kind of fucking scary. And in this last episode, they do this whole bit, they frame it where it's an episode 2 era, like, sparring match between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and the de-aging CG type shit looks kind of wonky in that, to be honest with you, but it was a decent enough scene. It was fine. It's nice to see Hayden Christensen back as Anakin. I think that dude's got a bad rap, man. I fucking love Jumper. We should have gotten the other 2 fucking movies. Jumper failed because people were like, hey, Chris, goddamn Star Wars. And y'all ruined the potential fucking that we had for goddamn Jumper. Sorry. You got any other... What are your favorite, I guess you could call it, what's your favorite movie of a failed franchise launch? So I'm thinking things like Golden Compass. I thought it was a badass movie, and then we never got the other one. And then Jumper is one of them. Anybody got one of those? But what do you think of Obi-Wan as well? Road Collecting says, yeah, I think Lil Leia is doing good too. Yeah, I think so. Not sure if Reva is her acting or just bad writing. I think it's the writing for Reva. I think that they thought that they could make her badass without having it, like, to build a threatening villain, they almost have to earn it. Even Vader, when he first shows up, like, you're supposed to think that this guy's badass, and you're willing to believe they are, but then you need to see that, right? But then they could be like, well, the whole point is that maybe she wasn't so badass, and they kind of reveal some stuff in this episode, which was very much fucking broadcast. Like, it was so obvious that that was what was going to happen. That being said, it's all right. I love Ewan McGregor in this movie, and I love the villains outside of Reva, and thank you for reminding me of her name. It's not that the actress is fine, and I hear that she's fantastic in other roles, so I think it's the writing. I think there's something I don't think they worked so hard in the writer's room to make this character really compelling. I feel like they thought that with this twist that they had in this last episode, that was going to be enough to make us go, oh, but it was so forecast and predictable. So, I don't know. Eric says, Obi-Wan has been super enjoyable. I hope they keep investing in the time between episode 3 and 4. Rogue says, episode 4 was a waste in my opinion. Episode 4. That was the turn for Obi-Wan, though. So 5 was the latest one. And so we got one more left, I believe. Trenton says, the second sister from the Jedi Fallen Order game is much more of a scary and badass villain than the third sister. Fable says, Golden Compass is a good one, too. I liked that movie. I did, too. Have you seen this show? It might be on HBO Max, I think, because they aired it on HBO. I only watched the first season. I meant to get back to it, but the first season was basically that movie. But I really enjoyed it, so I want to get back into that. But I liked the show, but it was a little slow. So I didn't plow through it. Let's just say that. Jumper, what about Push? I don't remember Push. I don't remember that one. I don't know if I ever saw that one. Evil Face Bad says, Vader is fire, but you never talk about reading his comics or any of the stories. Do you read Vader? I read all of the Gillen run, and I enjoyed it. I started with the second run and dropped out of it after 6 issues. And then on this third run, same thing. I dropped out of it after about 6 issues. So I just don't read any of the Star Wars books right now. They don't, but now I am more than an average Star Wars fan, I guess, but I wouldn't define myself as being like Star Wars as being one of my top 5 or even 10 fandoms. So, Star Wars is cool to me, and I like it, but I don't know. I like other things more. So, it's easy for me, is what I'm trying to say, to drop a Star Wars comic. But I've always heard that the Vader one was still good, this new one, so. And then I don't know, man, they're always tying in shit, and Marvel in general has just not been pleasing me. So it's easy for me to drop a Marvel title right now. Manny says, Push was good. Trent says, Percy Jackson, The Olympians. Eric says, the fact that we didn't get a Blade trilogy is still one of the biggest cinematic crimes ever. I believe you. What's up, Verno from the Cerebros? Atomic Buzzard in the house station. The Amazing Spider-Man films? Fuck you. Eric says, not a failed franchise, but the MCU Hulk not getting a solo trilogy sucks too. Shitting on Legacy, my favorite new YouTube account made it, I don't know if it's made its debut last night, but it was on Dylan's Horror Show last night. Shitting on Legacy said, I hate when franchises stall out at the gate. It robs me of a future requel. You're right. Evil Face Bad says, I do think it's an enjoyable show. I just don't feel Reva at all. She's not intimidating whatsoever either. Waste of a good villain. Maybe they should have given her a mask or a helmet. Yeah. Steph says his Dark Materials. That is what Golden Compass is based on. It's the first book of that, right? Also, the Gillen run was fire, says Steph. Josh says they need to stop threatening characters we know are fine in A New Hope. Are we really supposed to be worried about little Luke? I know. That was pretty dumb at the end there. But he's worried. Is Star Wars before or after My Little Pony fandom? Well, Scarpad, it's probably before My Little Pony. My Little Pony fandom is very, very, very slight. Big Herm says, it's funny, that's how I feel about Star Trek, Robbie. That's nice, and fuck you too, Herm. Just kidding. Ace in the house was gutted. We never got to see Guillermo del Toro finish the first Hellboy trilogy. I think he had planned on doing it on Hellboy's Journeys Through Africa, which would have been dope. Yeah, the Strange Places stuff. Yeah, that is sad. Steph says, I want a Zack Snyder directed Resident Evil movie. I think the closest you're going to get to that's Army of the Dead. Moni says, Vader was way too OP in that episode. Still look cool, though. He was. I was all of a sudden, I was like, so he can stop ships? It was badass, but I was like, he's never. But the problem is, in those days, you couldn't have shit like that. It took Yoda was like struggled to lift this fucking X-Wing. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, it's time to talk about our favorite comic books of last week. Out of everything you read, what was your favorite comic book last week? In fact, what was your pick of the week? My pick of the week was Do a Powerbomb, #1, which I actually haven't bought my comics yet. I took them right back to work, separated out the ones I wanted to keep, put the ones back that I didn't, and then put them in my box, and then got distracted by some Rob Liefeld dollar comics yesterday, and I never bought them. So I don't have them here. But Do a Powerbomb, #1, Daniel Warren Johnson, Mike Spicer. Holy shit, I loved the book. I thought it was great. Daniel Warren Johnson does art that I love. He's able to make very dynamic compositions and explosive pages, right? They come to life with action, but with detail, with the complexity that doesn't bury mistakes, doesn't hinder anything in the composition or the layout of the panel design. It absolutely soars as art goes, and the story's really good too. Daniel Warren Johnson's really good at telling this big explosive type story, this one about wrestling, or for instance like Murder Falcon, which was a book about this fucking giant murder falcon that's controlled by a metal band, like fucking badass. But he's able to still tell a human story in that, right? So this one does feel into some of those sports movie tropes that you see, but it's playing around with it, and it's making it a very fun, dynamic, and exciting experience. But it's about a chick who wants to be a wrestler. Her mother was like one of the biggest wrestlers of her day. She died in the ring. So everybody's trying to hold her back so that she doesn't make a mistake in the ring and something tragic happens, like with her mother. So she's got this legacy to live up to and a shadow that's overcasting her and holding her down as well, and expectation. And so I absolutely loved the book. I thought it was thrilling. I thought it had a great basis in character, and I thought the artwork was great. I really regret that I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that most of y'all picked it up. So I want to know, what did you think about Do a Powerbomb #1 from Daniel Warren Johnson, coloring by Mike Spicer, lettering by Russ Wooten? It was a fantastically paced, exciting comic book with heart that I found rather engaging. So I want to know, what did you think about that, and what else did you dig on? What was your pick of the week? So I'm curious to know. Trenton says, it makes me sad that we won't see Morbius into the Morbverse of Morbness. Well, never say never. Again. Twitch says, Do a Powerbomb, so damn good. Big Herm says, Do a Powerbomb is my pick of the week. I loved it. Fable says, Do a Powerbomb for sure. Eric's like, Ray stopped the ship in that last episode of Star Wars 2. See, nobody remembers that, though. Eric says, X-Men Red is developing Magneto in a way we haven't seen in a long time, so worth it. Twitch says, I don't care about wrestling, and Do a Powerbomb hooked me. Evil Face Bad says, I picked up the Sumerian, Star Wars Bounty Hunters, and Wolverine. Cool covers, especially the Sumerian. Conan for life. William says, my pick of the week is The Long Halloween. R.I.P. to Tim Sale. Yes, we lost a legend. me and my buddy Rex had a little bit of a conversation where we were just kind of just kind of talking about it, but it was the day after, and it was just so weird, man. I didn't realize how much Tim Sale's artwork had actually affected me. So let's throw out a moment of silence and a station for Tim Sale. Trenton says, I need to read Do a Powerbomb still. Baymet says, Do a Powerbomb is my pick of the week. Number 2 goes to King Spawn. Did you check out the show that we did with Sean Lewis? Last Thursday, we had Sean Lewis join us here on the channel for a conversation. We talked for about an hour and a half. We talked about his upcoming book, Above Snakes, with Hayden Sherman. Me and Brian both read it. We both loved it. It is so good. Then we talked to him about some of his indie work, especially we go deep into some of his works and his collaboration process with the artist Hayden Sherman. So we go into that, then we go into some Spawn talk. And so that's how the show's rounded out. But there's also lots of different things and tidbits in between. We talk about process. We talk about inspiration. We talk about other books. We talk about story flow. Fantastic conversation. Sean was a super, super cool dude. I'm excited to have Sean back on the show again soon. Noggin says, loved Do a Powerbomb. Hell yeah, me too, Noggin. And thanks for joining us. Trey Paper Dad's in the house says, Happy Father's Day and Happy Juneteenth. You know it. Anybody else have any thoughts on Do a Powerbomb or any other comic books that came out last week? Anybody read, I almost said Gideon Falls. Anybody read Bone Orchard Mythos, The Passageway? I thought it was really good. The more you read it, the more you enjoy it. I'll say that. And it's better in person than it is on a screen. I'll tell you that. Because the first few times I read it were on screen. But having it in person was fucking amazing. Mandy says, I haven't grabbed Do a Powerbomb yet. I got a few books left to read. But so far, maybe Bunny Mask or Nightmare Country. Nightmare Country's pretty good too. Bunny Mask confused me too much in the first volume, so I never came back for the second. Tomorrow says, The Passageway was great, but super fast for 18 Bones, dude. I get what you're saying, but I'll also just say something that, God, I can't remember who said this. I don't remember who said this. It was a comic book artist. It was a writer artist. It was like a cartoonist. I don't remember who said. Somebody said, I read your book too fast. I think Bendis may have said this. He's like, I read your books too fast. And he goes, no. He goes, your books are too fast. He goes, no, you're not. He goes, no, you're not reading it slow enough. Or some shit like that. The Passageway is honestly something that you can keep going back to. And each time you revisit it, I think you're going to notice a little something. But that is also a book where you can get lost in the artwork if you want to. Not that it's highly detailed, but it's amazing in its composition. And that's what, you can breeze through it in one way, or you can take your time and just kind of let the mood wash over you. It's at your choosing. So what I'm saying is if the book was too fast for you, Manny, that's your fault. You read it too fast. See, I fucked up the whole thing at first because it was like somebody said, your books are too fast. He goes, no, you read them too fast. That's what it was. Hey, Brandon, a Looney Tunes fan 2000 is in the house. What is up? Twitch says, Bunny Mask is a simple story. Cards fan is in the house. What is up? Reverse Amoeba's in the house. I loved The Passageway, King Spawn, and Do a Powerbomb. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Brandon's got 581 subs now. Hell yeah, bro. Just keep at it. Keep at it. It will happen. Get them one at a time. Still. Just one at a time. Manny says, I have a tendency to finish things way faster than intended. Mrs. Chamorro can attest. Well, I read the books fast on Tuesday. Like, I read them fast because I'm trying to get through a lot. Brandon, I think I just gave you a shout out. Didn't I? Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000. Got 581 subs. He's going to keep plucking at it, going to keep doing it. Just make me that promise. I'll give you a shout out as long as you promise that you keep grinding, keep hustling, don't stop. Otherwise, I'm not going to give you a shout out. I think I just did. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, Passageway. I really like it, though. But it is a fast read. And I knew it because I said that in my weekly review. I was like, a lot of people are going to be like, $18. It's a bit much. I get that. It could have easily been a $5.99 prestige format. Back in the day, it would have been a $4.99 prestige format. Noggin Comics says, Miss Noggin, loved Passageway. Still need to read it. A says, haven't had a chance to pick up my books this week, but I have been reading Black Sad, which is great. You know, I've never read Black Sad. I've always been intending to get into it. Hey, we got Bullseye Bob in the house. What's up, Bob? Everything Comics says, that's a subject I am passionate about. When you're a Wednesday warrior, it becomes habit to read books fast. Some stories are meant to be read slowly so you can immerse yourself and experience it. That is true, and that's why I usually revisit some things. Is Top 5 Comics coming back? No. Top 5 Comics I dropped. It became a video I just did not want to do. It was the same thing with the Top 10 video I used to do solo before the Top 10 video with Jim. See, I didn't mind doing the Top 10 video with Jim because I would do it and he would put it all together. And it was on his channel. And I enjoyed doing that. And that's fine. He decided to end it. And then I decided, well, you know, let me do a top 5. I can do that. But there is something about, I don't like doing the top 10 and top 5 comics of the week solo. I don't like doing them. I don't know. It was dragging me down. And if I feel like I am not going to deliver 125%, my bad. 169% on a project, I'm not going to do it anymore. So I felt like I was delivering subpar content, and so I cut it, even though I do know that some people really did like it. So I'm sorry, but all those thoughts and more can be found here on Rockin Robbie Live and, of course, on the weekly comic book review. Figure Drawing says, Black Sad is dope, awesome, anthropomorphic art design, must read. Manny says, as a Francavilla fan, I was a bit disappointed in his pages in Nightmare Country after such a strong outing from Sorrentino. I was not disappointed. Who's the bigger fan? Doing editing sucks. Yeah, I do not. If y'all notice, I don't like to edit. I have more fun. I will spend just as much time to edit a really sharply edited video preparing for a Rockin Robbie Live. And I'm cool with that. I'd rather do this. So I figure, what's the point of having a YouTube channel and basically another job and I'm the one who gets, you know, like, what's the point of this if it's not fun? And so the video just wasn't fun. So I stopped it. But you can always watch the weekly comic book review to get even more information about my thoughts. And that's the other thing, is I would just repeat myself, I think. You know? I don't know. All right, let's take a look at what's coming up in shops this week. And as we go through this list, mentally think of what you are most excited for. We got Nightwing 93, Flash 783, Moon Knight number 12, Amazing Spider-Man 4, X-Men number 12, Batman Superman World's Finest number 4, New Mutants 26, Miles Morales Spider-Man 39, Something is Killing the Children 24, Immortal X-Men number 3, Batman the Knight number 6, Catwoman 44, Noctera 11, Gunslinger Spawn 9, Knights of X 3, Dark Crisis Young Justice number 1, Deadly Class 53, New Fantastic Four number 1, Star Wars Crimson Reign number 5, Silver Surfer Rebirth number 5. I believe that's the final issue. Very excited for that. Silver Coin number 11, Black Adam number 1, We Only Find Them When They're Dead number 11, Radiant Red 4, Rogue Sun 5, Marvel Voices Pride, number 1. New Burn, number 8. Punisher War Journal, Blitz, number 1. It's a one-shot. Bloodstained Teeth, number 3. Maestro, World War M4. Homesick Pilots, number 15, the final issue. Sad to see that go, but all good things, ... I Hate This Place, number 2. Miles Morales and Moon Girl, one-shot. Fables, 152. Earth Prime 6, Heroes Twilight. Aquaman and the Flash, Void Song, number 1. Red Room, Trigger Warnings, number 4. Cowboy Bebop, number 4. Nottingham, number 8. Transformers, Beast Wars, 17. Milestones in History, number 1. All New Firefly 5, Duo, number 2. Beware the Eye of Odin, number 1. Aerosmith, Behind Enemy Lines, number 6. Shaolin Cowboy, Cruel to Be Kin, number 2. Samurai Sonya, number 1. Hellcop, number 8. Heavy Metal Drummer, number 5, big week. Superman's Pal, Jimmy Olsen's Boss, Perry White, number 1. It's a special with a bunch of reprints. We'll get to that in the DC sneak peek. The Lonesome Hunters, number 1. Primos, number 4. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, number 7. Elvira in Horrorland, number 2. Magic, Hidden Planeswalker, number 3. Jonah and the Unpossible Monsters, number 10. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, 116. Usagi Yojimbo, Lone Goat and Kid, number 6. Zombies vs. Robots Classic, number 4. Armorclads, number 4. Kaiju Score, Steal from the Gods, number 3. The Joneses, number 3. Collector, Unit 731, number 3. John Carter of Mars, number 3. Killer, Affairs of the State, number 5. Nook, number 1. The Illusion Witch, number 1. My Little Pony, number 2. Disturbed, Dark Messiah, number 2. Cover of Darkness, 6. Essentia, number 12. Wrong Earth, Confidence Men, number 1. And we're going to leave it at that. What am I most looking forward to? Beware the Eye of Odin, done by Doug Wagner and Tim Odlin. Friends of the show. We had a great conversation with them. I was looking forward to seeing Doug at Heroes Con this week. I hope he can still attend, but he did catch COVID last week, so everybody keep him in your thoughts. But really excited to check out that book. I have read it, and it was awesome. So y'all definitely need to get in on that and keep Doug and Tim in your thoughts. Both of them are dealing with their own things. And then we've got, let's see, Red Room, Trigger Warnings, always pumped for that. Always pumped for that. And Homesick Pilots 15, the final issue. Man, oh man. Yeah, it is spreading again. I got it on my birthday. So what are you most excited for in comic shops this week? Let us know. We're about to take a break. When we come back, DC Sneak Peek, Tai Chi Master movie review, and Image in the 90s. Here on Rockin Robbie Live.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad,
yeah.
Baby, I'm bad.
I just wanna stay bad, stay mad. Chip on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast. I ain't gonna take that, stay back. I'll be swinging hard till the hits come in all caps. I ain't gonna lay back, pray that someone's gonna help me. Ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait, that's all fact. Give me one shot and I'll never get the throne back. I'm sick of being cautious. I'ma go cause something, can't stop this. I'ma steal everybody's lane, call it shoplift. Sick of hearing everyone complain when they thoughtless. Taste the pain, it's like candy canes. It makes me go change into a better frame, into a better name. Society's insane, we all live for fame, yeah. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad. I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up.
Only God wants you, better
life, I'm crazy, I'm mad. Do it no cap. Only got one, so you better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad. Baby, I'm bad. I got cash in the bag, stadium packed. For the rock star in this life, I'm living up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad. I just wanna get caught up in this life, I'm crazy, I'm mad. Do it no cap. Only got one, so you better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad. Baby, I'm bad. I got cash in the bag, stadium packed. For the rock star in this life, I'm living up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad. I just wanna get caught up in this life, I'm crazy, I'm mad. Do it no cap. Only got one, so you better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad. Baby, I'm bad.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. We've had a great show tonight, talking about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more, and shit ain't even started yet. We looked back at last week at what our favorite comic books were, and we took a look ahead at what was coming up in shops this week. And we're about to get into the DC sneak peek, the Tai Chi Master movie review, an Image in the 90s, more Wildcats. Yeah. I do want to encourage you, though, to follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, you might as well make it official. Join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. And, of course, you can support the channel at patreon.com/PCP like these fine PCP patrons right there, or with Super Chat. But just being here is support enough. Hit that like button, hit the share. Let everybody know that this is the hippest, vibinest place to be on Sunday nights here on Rockin Robbie Live. Coming up here on the channel, tomorrow night, PCP movie night. It's still Crew's Choice. We're about to be announcing the Action Fest lineup, but we're still in Crew's Choice for 2 weeks. And tomorrow is Mike the Voice Matthews' pick, and it's Saint Maud. Very excited to be chatting with this one with the fellas tomorrow. We got the Miss Marvel episode review and discussion with the PCP Army Bad Batch. Spoiler talk on episode 3. That'll be Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. And even though I will be at Heroes Con, Dylan's Horror Show rolls on through without me. They're talking about Toby Hooper's Eaten Alive. That's on Dylan's Horror Show. I do want to encourage everybody, check out dynamicforces.com. They got lots of cool collectibles there. CGC graded books, exclusive covers, virgin covers, and commissioned cover art by people like Ken Hazer and more. If you're ever there, want to pick something up, enter Robbie at your cart. You'll receive 10% off. So how is everybody doing? When we last left you, I asked you, what are you most looking forward to coming up in shops this week? Let's go back. How far? Back in time. Let's see what everybody was saying. Ace says, hot damn, it's a big week. Oh, man, okay. Hot damn, it's a big week. Hot damn, where my money gone to the comics? Let's just do that. Did you say Samurai Sonia? What is that about? It's a samurai interpretation of Red Sonja, in a way, is what it is. Eric says, Newburn and Silver Coin saw the preview of this week's New Mutants 2, and it looked intriguing as hell. Baymet says, Moon Knight, Heavy Metal Drummer, and Silver Surfer. I'm looking forward to all three of those as well. Perry Comics in the house. What is up? Mike is in the house. Mike Conrad. Raccoon Rod. Bobby is in the house, and so is Brother Joe. We got Bobby De La Ghetto with Brother Joe. Come on. Station. Thank you for being here. Tip of the cup to the brothers. I can't think of anything. Tip of the hat to the brothers' dubious, obvious awesomeness. I was trying to think of something that rhymed with Grim. All I could think of was Slim. Tilt your cup to the brothers Slim. It doesn't make sense. Didn't make sense. A Simple Story's in the house. Mike says, books that jump out to me this week. Moon Knight 12. By the Horns, Dark Earth 2, Punisher War Journal Blitz #1, and New Fantastic Four #1. We'll have to see on the Dark Earth, the By the Horns. We haven't gotten our Scout books for that shipment yet. We may get them. It may come out this week. I didn't have them on the list that I was having, though. Scout books will go back and forth sometimes on their release date. So will other books like Behemoth or just some of those smaller publishers. But very pumped for By the Horns when it returns. But I don't think they've even sent me the digital copy yet. They usually send me that like 2 weeks before. Or maybe I just didn't notice it because I've been really bad with responding to my emails and my messages and my texts and everything for the last 2 weeks. Jorm says, Silver Coin, Something is Killing the Children, Elvira, Sheena, John Carter, Samurai Sonia, and Fuck This Place. The alternative title, too. I hate this place. I am pumped for those books as well, especially Elvira. Loved the first issue of that. This one, she'll be basically in The Shining. Twitch says, about to go broke this week. Hot damn. It's a big new comic book day. Hot damn. Where did my money go? Officially Unofficial Geek is in the house. What's up, OUG? Do you guys think that during these breaks, Robbie is just dancing around with glow sticks like a raver? I used to do that back in the 90s. Why not? Don't have any ecstasy, though. A little bit of ecstasy. Dum bum bum bum. Little bit of you and me. Dun dun dun. A little bit of set you free. Dun 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 dun. Little bit of ecstasy. Bum 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 bum. Tell me what you want, and what you want is what you feel, baby. What you want, a little bit of ecstasy. Bum 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 bum. Who needs to do dancing around with glow sticks while on break? I need to get some glow sticks. Oh, now the cat wants to leave. Not during the break. How rude, Ariel. How rude. Twitch says, I suspect he takes a leak, grabs another beer, and hits the vape before he comes back. Well, I hit the vape here. I hit something. I was just going to say that. You're pretty much right, though, Twitch. Bum, 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 bum. Baby, what I got is what you need. Baby, what I got, a little bit of ecstasy. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum. Come on, where my club kids at, man? What's going on? Reverse Amoeba is looking forward to Nottingham, Red Room, and Homesick Pilots. Top of the list this week. Comic Book Therapy is in the house. What is up? CBT says, Robbie be ripping the bong on the break. Brother Joe says, Robbie is on fire tonight. Well, thank you so much, Brother Joe. I appreciate that. Now I'm not going to be able to get the picture of Robbie on this during the break. Dancing on the breaks, yeah. Hey, I'm sure that Bueller shared some of the stories from when we were hanging out, so I'm pretty sure you heard that. You know, we're not kayfabing this shit. We don't fake the funk here. Like, Rockin Robbie, it's fun. It's a fun experience. Bueller drank a beer with me. He's like, I never drink beer. He went and got him a Coors Light. I've been like, the only thing cooler than that, Bueller, is if you got just like Coors the banquet beer, which they probably didn't even have, like Johnny Lawrence. Hanging out with Bueller was awesome. Can't wait till I hang out with you, Bullseye Bob. We got to watch a Kung Fu movie together. You know that. Yeah, Mike, I know that By the Horns was initially listed for this week, but it's you never know. Bob says, this is what we call ecstasy on the West Coast. Twitch says, like 30 books this week? Either 25 or 30. Robbie's singing made me lose count. Tell me what you want, and what you want is what I need. Baby, what you want, a little bit of ecstasy. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. See, why do a top 5 comics when I can just come on here and start singing like fucking club and rave hits from the fucking 90s? Happiness seems to be loneliness, and loneliness kill my soul. How could you guess when you only convince yourself how you looked at other girls? Happiness seems to be loneliness. Oh, man, I'm getting way... Okay. Need to calm down. Calm down, Robbie. Last time I was in a club, says Keith, they were playing The Clash and Grandmaster Flash. Siam Old. Man, I wish... That would have been fun days. I know the days you're talking about, too. I wasn't there, obviously. I was very, very young. But, that would have been cool. I would love to go to a fucking Clash and have somebody, like, fucking spin, this is Radio Clash. This is Radio Clash on Pirate Satellite. Coming down, bam, bam, vision in, bam, 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 bam. Why do the fucking words go? Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Play Sandstorm. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get to why people are here. It's time for the DC sneak peek. All right, first up, we got this book. I love the title. Best title ever. You want to talk about these long titles? Something is killing the children. We only find them when they're dead. Strange Skies over East Berlin. All these long-ass titles. The best one is Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen's boss, Perry White. So this is a one-shot comic book. I don't know why they're doing it, to be honest with you. This is puzzling as fuck to me. But maybe it's an anniversary for Perry White, but it doesn't say it. But it does have a brand new story. It's like a 8-pager, I think, by Matt Fraction, Steve Lieber, Nathan Fairbairn. The same team from the last Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen book, which was fucking fantastic. But so their story in here is good. Then it's got a bunch of reprints. It reprints a bit from one of their Jimmy Olsen comics. It reprints some stuff from the 70s, and it reprints some stuff from like 2011 and 2019. So it doesn't get super classic, but apparently they're like Perry-centric stories. But I only read the new one. But I did enjoy it. Is the new story alone worth $4.99? No. But that's a really good 8-pager story. I'm just going to say that. So glad to read that. Then we got Aquaman the Flash, Void Song #1. This is the first of 3 issues. This is $6.99 Prestige format, not Prestige Plus. So Prestige Plus is the magazine format for the Black Label stuff. This is just the OG square-bound Prestige format. This is written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, with artwork by Vasco Georgiev. The artwork's okay. It's not bad. It's pretty solid. There are moments where it works, but it can be a bit too simple. But the story was really good. Like, you don't see a lot of team-ups between Flash and Aquaman, and the way that their personalities bounced off of each other, I thought was really exciting. So I really liked this book, and it was a really solid, not quite in continuity. You can fit it in continuity maybe like a few years ago. They referenced some things like Flashpoint, but they also referenced like Alfred, right? So like you can place it in a point in continuity if that stuff bothers you. But as its own story, basically something has come and has taken everybody on the planet out except for the Flash and Aquaman. And it's up to them now to save the world. That the whole setup is here in this first issue. But the dialogue was witty. It was charming. The characters' personalities rang true, and I liked the way those personalities came together heroically and clashed together. So I really kind of solidly liked this book. I thought it was actually really well done. And then we got Duo, issue number 2. I thought the first issue was all right. So it's these two scientists. They're lovers. They're about to get married. They're working on nanotechnology. Somebody sabotages them. They try to kill them. They only kill the wife or the soon-to-be wife. However, somehow the nanites take her consciousness and go into the soon-to-be husband, and they save him, but they download her consciousness in his head. So his lover's consciousness is in his head, and now he has this nanotechnology that repairs his shit and gives him superpowers. And this is exploring that, and it was actually not too bad. It was kind of a breezy read. Is it Greg Pak? Yeah, Greg Pak, Koi Pham. I thought it was decent. I thought it was a little bit better than the first issue, so it intrigued me enough to keep it in. Like, so these milestone revamps, I haven't really been into post 2 issues, but so far with Blood Syndicate and Duo, they're winning me over a little bit. And then we got Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number 4. I've been a little down on the series because I love the artwork by Dan Mora and Tamara Bonvillain. I think it's absolutely fantastic, classic feeling comic book art with a really dynamic composition to it. But the story has felt a bit overstuffed. This one feels like it's a little bit narratively focused more, right? So I actually thought that this was the most solidly executed through script issue of World's Finest yet. So it's exciting to see this book kind of iron out and see the writing match the intense energy of the artwork. So I really, really liked that 4th issue. Excuse me. Then we've got Dark Crisis Young Justice. The Dark Crisis tie-ins are here. Is this book essential to your understanding of Dark Crisis? No. Is this book for fans of Young Justice from back in the day? Yes. So something has happened, and the 3 core members of Young Justice, we're talking about Tim Drake Robin, Connor Kent Superboy, and Bart Allen Impulse, they get just swept away, and they disappear after all of these tie-ins kind of start with that candlelight vigil that they're having for the Justice League that we see in Dark Crisis number 1. So that's a cool connecting thread that I like that they're using. But in this issue, the 3 of them disappear, and this is about Cassie she's actually, honestly, Cassie just kind of being sad this whole fucking issue. That bit was kind of annoying, and it was a little verbose with it. But so Bart, Connor, and Tim get whisked away to like Young Justice by Peter David and Todd Knock days. And so there's throwbacks to that, including the Mighty Endowed. So I found it fun and charming as a fan of Young Justice, but I wouldn't recommend it to anybody unless you are a hardcore Young Justice fan. I don't mean the cartoon. I mean like the 90s Young Justice series by Peter David and Todd Knock, which I fucking loved back then. So there you go. Then we got Flash 783, another Dark Crisis tie-in, but I like this one a little bit more. Is it essential to the story? No, but it fills in some gaps that are going to be explored further. Basically, Barry Allen is missing, we know through reading things like Infinite Frontier and Justice League Incarnate that he's been captured by the Great Darkness. So he's been captured and placed in this world called Flash, like Earth Flash or some shit like that. And it's like that classic Silver Age existence. So this is Wally and the Flash family going after Barry. And they figure out a way to track him, but they can only get it to work, hone in so much. So they get introduced to different versions of Barry. There's a really cool new version of Barry here that's about to be introduced that I thought was really cool. So I like this. It is by Jeremy Adams. It is tied into Dark Crisis and tied in fundamentally to the core of the story. So this one is only for like old school 90s Peter David, Todd Knock, Young Justice fans. This one, though, if you want to see how they find Barry, that's going to be here, and it's really solid. Then we got Black Adam. Christopher Priest is starting his run on Black Adam for 12 issues. Rafa Sandoval is doing the artwork. So we got a Black Adam movie coming out, so we got to have a book. I liked it, but there were some things that I thought were a little weird and kind of off. Now, Christopher Priest's way of structuring a story can be a little bit disconcerting at first, but usually it pays off. The way it's structured will make sense. Think of his Black Panther run, even his more recent work on Vampirella. He structures stories in such a way. I'm not saying that this is like I think Black Panther was I love his structure. I love the way he plays with it. It throws some people off. I liked this issue. I liked this book. I don't know if we often see Black Adam not as Black Adam and as his, like, I guess, normal self before he says Shazam. I didn't realize that was that much of a factor, so that side of it threw me off a little bit. But overall, I thought the issue was pretty decent. It wasn't as good as I was expecting it to be. It wasn't as good as, say, Priest's Black Panther #1, but it was still decent, and I did like it. And I'm intrigued to see where it develops. Then we got Nightwing, issue 93, a fantastic issue of Nightwing. A nice kind of one-and-done story, but still tying into this overarching thread. We're getting more movement on this Heartless story and Blockbuster story and all that kind of stuff, but we're also getting more development on this budding relationship between Barbara and Dick. And we're also, that sounded weird, but we're also getting really solid artwork from Bruno Redondo, who is not allowing so much on digitized screen tones to give it a style, but the style is having more faith and trust in the style that is in the book. And the artwork was fantastic, and I think it really has been leveling up in these last few issues. And Bruno's already a fantastic artist, so I really thought the artwork was solid and pretty decent, and that one was the story. So overall, I don't know why they made this, but I really did like reading that 8-page story. This was way better than I thought it would be, so that's a surprise to me. Duo is solid and intriguing. World's Finest was really tight this week. Young Justice, once again, not essential to Dark Crisis understanding, but fun for old school 90s Young Justice fans. And then Flash, not essential to your understanding of Dark Crisis, but this is the gist of them finding Barry Allen. The finding Barry Allen is essential, but of course they're going to find him. Anyway, Black Adam #1, interesting. We'll have to see how this one develops. And Nightwing was pretty fantastic. Overall, my DC pick of the week, I don't know. It might be Aquaman the Flash Void Song. I don't want to recommend this book necessarily because it's $6.99. It's an investment and it's a big week, but this was way better than I thought it would be. And if you like these two characters, they work really well together. So that's what I thought. And yes, that's been your DC sneak peek. I liked the artwork. The artwork's fine for the most part, but there are other moments where the artwork's just kind of okay. But I'll show you some of the more badass parts. I'll just show you that. So, felt classic, good solid team up, and an unexplored matchup. I don't think I've seen much of Flash and Aquaman teaming up. So I liked it. So let's look back in the chat. See what people were saying. 62 Lefty Blues is in the house. Sleepy Reader 666 is in the house. What is up, Damien? How you doing, bro? Mike says, I'm heading to a metal show this week. Not sure how much ecstasy will be there. Probably plenty of. I haven't done ecstasy in like over 20 years. So don't worry about that. If it was even, whatever. We're not getting into it. It's all about the nanotech. You're right. It's very 90s, right? I love it. Figure Drawing says, Dan Mora is a rock-solid artist. I agree, especially when he's colored by Tamara Bonvillain. Sleepy Reader says, glad to hear World's Finest is finding a groove. I really did like this one. It felt like it's getting its focus more. And it's like, is it the focus? It's the focus, but it's also, I think, Wade starting to work better with Mora. And that really works for me. "62 Lefty Blues has been taking weekends off work on a computer all week. I understand that. OUG says, love that Nightwing cover. Love that Nightwing cover. Comic Book Therapy says, yeah, the Nightwing cover is dope. How's the art on Black Adam? Art's solid. Sandoval's on the art, so the art's fine. It's nothing that's going to wow you and be like, whoa. It's not like reading Daniel Warren Johnson. But I did like it. I thought it was good. I don't think a lot of people are going to like it. There's something off-putting about it. But I also like the fact that Christopher Priest does not give a shit to write an off-putting comic book. There's y'all let me, I have been reading Black Adam stuff since he was reintroduced back into the JSA era stuff with Jeff Johns. And I've been into that character since then. I know that there is another, like, if he goes Shazam, like, he becomes his mortal self, but, like, I just don't remember them focusing on it so much, and that personality being in there is weird. I do believe Catwoman is out this week, OUG, but I quit reading that one. The art on that one has been fantastic, though. Bob says Nightwing continues to be amazing, or awesome, he says, actually. Twitch says, Super Friends has never tainted Aquaman for me the same way that the Namor cartoon from the 60s ruined him for me. Interesting. When am I going to stream for 24 hours straight and just be hard as fuck, son? Well, I don't know if I could do that. I mean, it'd be interesting to try. I've had ideas. We did a 6-hour stream once, and that was taxing. So I was thinking about, like, doing an 8-hour one time, but, like, where I would get, like, an hour break here and there, and someone like Jelani would be on or some shit like that. But, no. How much current DC do you buy for your personal collection, Robbie? It's very light for DC and Marvel, to be honest with you. Like, out of these books, I'm not going to buy a single one. What I buy mostly is stuff that I know I want to revisit and go back to a lot. So, like, this week I'll buy Red Room. I'll buy Shaolin Cowboy. I'll buy Heavy Metal Drummer. I like the weirder, more alternative type stuff to keep in the personal collection. But I do follow some DC and Marvel stuff. But I don't buy so much of it anymore, though. I usually, if I like something, I'll get it in a run, like in a trade paperback or something. So actually, it's probably pretty low. What DC books do I collect? Well, Nice House on the Lake. Dark Crisis. I'm getting Dark Crisis, but I'm not buying the tie-ins. Just Dark Crisis. Because I just love Crisis shit. But what else am I getting from DC? I don't buy much DC. Missing Link says, you quit a Teenie Howard book? Sounds crazy. Yeah, right. OUG says, I enjoyed the detective-like story of Catwoman. Hell yeah. Robbie, you have the knowledge about comics so much. Thank you, BJ. Have you ever thought about writing a comic? Yes, many times. I have plenty of ideas. The time, though, that's the thing. Between the deep, my day job running the comic shop, that's a full-time gig. And then this is like a foolish part-time-ish type gig, and everything else in between, it's hard. It's hard to fit the time in. But we all have the same amount of time every day, right? But I would love to, I have ideas I would love to. I need to get to it. OUG says, there's this dude, White Shadow. His name is Chip. He does marathons with live guests. Okay. You should get to do a crew together to do an extra live stream in November playing old school games. See, I've thought about this because we recently started doing some more retro game nights, just us hanging out, and it's fun. And I was like, man, it would I know that y'all would love to see what it's like for me, Jelani, and Brooks to play some fucking NES. It is fucking wild, but I was trying to figure out how to do it, and I don't know about the screen capture, and I thought about it, and then I was like, well, so many other people do that, but y'all would have so much fun watching Brooks play fucking NES, and me and Jelani in particular too, but Brooks in particular, man, y'all would fucking love it. Brooks loses his shit, man, but we all do. Yeah, Tapering Boy. Tapering Boy is just one of those ones because I want to draw Tapering Boy, and man, if I ain't got time to write a comic, you know I ain't got time to draw it. That takes way more time. No, I'm not on any pills, and I don't smoke meth. It's just alcohol and weed. That's pretty much all I need. It's like that Oasis song. I was looking for some action, but all I found were cigarettes and alcohol. So there you go. Namor cartoon was awful, though it did give me a name that I use to this day, the Quagmire of Doom. I know the one you're talking about. Those cartoons, there were a few of them. There was Captain America, there was a Namor, there was a Thor. Who else? Was there Iron Man? Anyway, they were all just they would crude drawings by people like Kirby that were crudely animated. Not crude drawings, but crudely animated. They're weird. I had some VHSs when I was a kid. Who remembers the brief Spider-Woman cartoon? I never seen that. If you write comics, what art style, if any, do you have in mind? I guess it depends on the story. Exactly. It would depend on the story. I would want the art to service the story. 100%. Like if I did a Blade book, I'd want Juan Ferreira. If I did my vampire story that I have in mind, I would want Casper Wingard. Something like that. Yeah, I'm aware of Extra Life. There's some friends of mine that do a local gaming show called Rocket Punch. And several years ago, they were doing an Extra Life stream. And they invited us, and me and Hammer Time Holshe went there, and we streamed. I told them that I was like, me and John just play NES shit. And, John plays a little bit more than me. John plays modern games. I was like, I just play NES shit. So they found some kind of modern, 8-bitty type game, and we were playing it, and it was fun. But that was a while ago. So, but yeah, I'm aware of Extra Life. That would be fun. Setting it all up, though, that would be interesting, trying to figure that out. There's Brooks. That's one of his quotes from the last time we were playing. I was pressing up. Was that we were playing Mega Man? Was that Mega Man? I was pressing up. I think y'all would love it. Man. I got to figure out a way to capture that because we play on my Wii. I don't know how to capture that shit. Brooks just seems so low-key. Seems odd to think of him losing any shit. He loses his shit, and especially during NES. You should have seen us all in Mega Man. For some reason, we're playing Batman. We make it through 2 levels. We get to the beginning of level 3 with no weapons. You can't do that. You got to have weapons when you get to the beginning of level 3 for those fuckers. What are they called? The Jaggers, something like that? You got to fucking... Anyway... So we were like, fuck it, we're done. What do you want to play, Jelani? He said, it's Mega Man. So now we're drunk, or buzzed at least, and now we decide to switch to fucking Mega Man, the first one, which is a fucking way harder game. That being cool. That being said, I can breeze through level 1 of Batman lately. I've just been playing it over and over. That's the game I'm focused on. That's the game I'm practicing. I'm trying to get better at it. Level 3 fucking sucks, Brooks. We're going to have to work on that, man. We're going to have to set that up next. You're the manager, Robbie. You got to delegate, do the work. People, I got a comic to write. I do delegate. But I can't write a comic while I'm at the work. It's not how that works. What's your go-to NES game? Our go-to games are always going to be Mario, probably. But this last time, it was Batman and Mega Man, and that's probably what we're going to focus on for a while. We're going to beat fucking Batman. While not Marvel, there was a Plastic Man cartoon in the late 70s or early 80s. I recall watching as a kid. Not sure if it was any good or not. I remember that. They released that on DVD not too long ago. There's an Aquaman one, too. I have the Aquaman one. And some of the Superman and Batman ones from that era I really like as well. Top 10 NES games? I have to think about that. Number 1, Super Mario 3, though. Always. I would love a Robbie Tries Modern Games to watch him curse out the screen. It would be too cringy for people, man. They would be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Mega Man is hard, but it's beatable. There's lots of tricks. It's lots of tricks. All right, it's time to get into the movie review. I've been going through Hong Kong cinema, kung fu movies, courtesy of Bullseye Bob. He actually sent me a batch of movies, and I've been reviewing them. Riccio, Shaolin versus Lama. We've been alternating weeks with the John Carpenter walkthrough. And so tonight, we're talking about this movie. It's from 1993, I think. Yeah, 1993. I think it has another name called Twin Masters, but the one I got was called Tai Chi Master. So Tai Chi Master, like I said, 1993 film starring Jet Li and Michelle Yeoh. It also has Shin Su-yo and Fanny Yin and Wayne Chun. I'm messing these names up. It's directed by Wu Ping, and I believe this is the Wu Ping of, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, and I'm glad my Sifu was here. This is the dude that did the Matrix shit, right? And a lot of other stuff, like choreography and shit that we've been watching. So yeah, this movie is highlighted by his choreography and some pretty strong performances, but it's about these two friends that grew up in a Shaolin monastery, and they're, you know, they have a bond that you see develop from very early on, and one of them is more mischievous than the other, but the other falls in line, and that the other is Jet Li. But then it shows them growing up. So they're still at the monastery, but they have a really great friendship. So there is the Jet Li character, there's the other character. He's the more mischievous one. Let's just say that. And they're pretty cool. So since he's kind of got this temper, basically they wind up doing a sparring match at the monastery to see who's going to develop in their kung fu learning. And during this fight, this dude cheats and throws sand in Bruh's face, and Bruh, like, loses it. And because of that, the monastery's like, yo, you got to go. You're too crazy. And he starts fighting with the monk, and then they just send all the monks after him. And so then they have to fight their way out. So they're banished from Shaolin, and now Jet Li is banished along with his friends. So they wind up going around. They get into some trouble, but they're saved by this young lady. She helps them out, puts them in disguise, and then you get introduced to Michelle Yeoh's character, and she has just recently lost her husband because he's a piece of shit and went to somebody who was rich and married her or shacked up with her or some shit like that. So she's in a down spot right there, but really a fantastic character, a great performance. So they wind up living with these rebels to the government, right? They're these rebels they're overtaxed in this province, and these rebels that run this restaurant are going out and re-stealing the taxes back. Well, the one more rebellious friend decides that he wants to make something of himself. He wants to jump up in career, and he wants to make money. So he joins the government. He joins the army. He becomes a soldier. And initially he comes back and it's still kind of playing comedic. And this movie has, I do think it's got a little bit of tonal clash, but it's probably a cultural thing because I've seen this in a lot of these films where it gets really absurdly comedic in certain parts, but it's also got some serious weighty subject matter and intense action. But he shows up and he's like, yo, y'all got to get out of here. Somehow they know where the rebels are staying. And it's actually him that set it all up. So as they're trying to trust him, he betrays them and kills all the dudes except for Jet Li and a few others. And he actually kidnaps this young woman who first helped them, who he has kind of taken a liking to. And in a very shocking, brutal moment, he kills her. She does not participate in his advances, and then the governor shows up, and he's trying to be like a kiss ass to this governor. The governor shows up and he's like, why do you even have a rebel here? And he just fucking kills her to prove his loyalty. It's ridiculously fucking dark. And then there's more skirmishes. Michelle Yeoh winds up getting captured, and Jet Li's out there with a few other surviving rebels, but he goes back to save Michelle Yeoh. There's a really intense action scene there. And then basically what happens is they kidnap the governor, and then they show back up, and they just wind up having this big epic fight scene. So they kidnap the governor, they show up, they basically what happens is the other dude winds up killing the governor, and it turns the army against him. But there is still this epic fight between him and Jet Li. So it's these two friends that grew up in the monastery together that were inseparable until basically this dude's decision drove him to work for this corrupt government that's basically oppressing its people. And then Jet Li is now the hero. But there's this whole bit after all this death, all this loss, Jet Li kind of loses it. In the beginning of the movie, as they're leaving, their kung fu master like gives them like this book to learn Tai Chi to find peace within. And so there's this whole extended bit where Jet Li's kind of cracked, and they play it up comedically until he learns these practices, and then he kind of develops a style that his friend cannot compete against. So he defeats him. The evil forces are defeated, and he winds up going back to the monastery to teach this new Tai Chi technique to everybody. So all in all, I like the movie. I think it's pretty solid. Bullseye Bob sent me this DVD copy. Super appreciative for that. Really cool stuff. I didn't even notice it had special features. I should have watched some of those. Chin Soo Ho is the other guy. I was really freaking good in this movie. The performances were really good. I loved the story. I really found myself engaged and compelled by the journey of these two friends and the separate paths that their lives take. I'm getting more and more used to this injection of absurdly comedic stuff in the midst of heavy things, but it does really slow up for me towards in Act 3 when Jet Li's kind of cracked out, and it takes a while until he winds up kind of coming back together. That could have been a really good transition, but that falls a little flat for me. It kind of goes out of tone and loses the pace and the weight of the movie, because when dude kills that chick that he's into, but then it goes into this weirdly comedic kind of bit that just didn't work for me, kind of took me out of the movie, but I did enjoy the film. I would still give this 4 out of 5 you digs. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great performance by Jet Li and Michelle Yeoh and the other people in the cast. I thought the action was insane. This was the first time where I was noticing wires like crazy. I don't know why. This one in particular, I don't know if there's something about the craft that didn't iron itself out. I don't know if it's the train. I don't know what it is, but I've not noticed wires a lot in these movies. In this one, I'm noticing the shit out of wires, like seeing them. And that kind of bothered me a little bit, but I'm not taking points off for that. I'm taking points off just because I thought it was a little tonally clashing, especially in that third act. But overall, I would give it 4 you digs. If you've seen Tai Chi Master, what do you think about it? How many you digs do you give it? but I still love that I watched this movie. And thank you for sending it to me, Bob. Let's take a look at the chat. I've never tried to beat Adventure on the 2600, but Missile Command's my shit. You can't beat that game, though. It just keeps going. Never beat Pitfall. Is there an end to Pitfall, or does it just keep going? Bruh, Brooks had never played Pitfall until probably a year ago or some shit. You came over, we put it in the 2600 flashback, and Brooks was playing Pitfall. It was so fucking funny, man. So fucking funny. Steph says, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Saw last night. Fantastic film. And he says, long-ass movie. I loved it too, though. I liked it a lot. Bob says, Shin Suho and Jet Li play well off of each other in this flick. Same duo in Fist of Legend. Was it? I might need to revisit that one. I wish I've watched so many of these things now, Bob. I have a hard time keeping them apart. That's awesome. I used to be like, I don't know shit about martial arts movies. I don't feel that way anymore. That's because of Bullseye Bob. So we're off next week and probably the week after that. I don't know, but we're going to figure this all out. So tonight's the last episode of Rockin Robbie Live for a while, but when we do come back, the next movie will be the next John Carpenter movie, which is Someone's Watching Me, which is his made-for-TV movie that I've never seen but hear good things about. It's what he filmed right before he started working on Halloween, so it's going to be very much interesting to compare it in the journey, right? So that's going to be after that. And then after that, it's going to be another Kung Fu movie, and that's on Bob. Bob, what's the next movie? What's the next Kung Fu movie? We got to get people ready. Brother Joe says, Bullseye Bob knows his business. Steph says, I'm today years old when I found out that Jet Li and Michelle Yeoh are in a movie together. Fable says, 4 sounds about right. I haven't seen it in a year. Figure Drawing says, I agree with 4 you digs. Bob says, if you watch enough Wu Ping movies, he never tries to hide the wire. Some movies are just more noticeable than others. I did notice it a lot in this one. 62 says, 4 you digs. OUG says, 4 you digs for me as well. Fable says, the student becomes the master. Bob says, Shin Suho was the number 2 student that had to challenge him to be the teacher of the school. Oh, okay. I still need to rewatch that one. I remember being a little bit more down. I think I gave that one a 3.5. Could be misremembering, though. I should have clipped all these out so that I could have revisited them easily. Maybe one day I'll clip them all out and be like, Robbie's Kung Fu Journey. It'll be like a fucking 3-4 hour video. Part 1. No, I have not tried the new Ninja Turtles game. I don't think I have any way of playing it. It's on modern consoles, right? I don't have any modern consoles. It looks fun though. It looks like I have watched some people play it on. Like there's this YouTuber I follow, Ryu, and I watched him do a video where he was playing through it. What's up, Elliot? How are you feeling about the future comic book market and industry? That's a loaded question. That's a question for like a Rex and Robbie show on Friday. But for the future, I'm decently positive about it. I think that we're always going to have comics, and I think that we have some really good ones. I don't think they're coming from the mainstream corporate big 2, but I do think there's still solid comics out there. Next movie is Buddhist Fist. All right. Let me write that down. Buddhist Fist. But I think the market's fine. I think that Marvel and DC need to make some changes. I love me some Venoms. Haven't seen Crippled Avengers, though. Just make your new catchphrase, that's on my mama. I actually like that. That's on my mama. Hell yeah. All right, now it's time to go back. How far back in time? To the 90s. It's time for Image in the 90s. And today we're talking about Wildcats, number 2, from Jim Lee. So this is Wildcats Volume 1, Covert Action Teams, number 2. So last week we covered issue number 1, and I was very shocked at how much information it did not give in the first fucking issue. And then the second issue is also very famous in my memory because it was the one with the hollow foil cover. I love that foil, chromium, whatever the fuck, that foil cover. I remember that specifically when I was a kid. It's weird. Why go for issue number 2? Well, issue number 2 sales usually drop in half, but if you got a foil cover, you get more people to actually go back and buy it. And if they read it, guess what? Issue 2 is where you fucking explain the story. So there you go. You know, I criticized some books today of being a little bit too decompressed and not giving us enough of a hook in the first issue. Wildcats is anything but decompressed. And it still didn't give us enough of a hook in the first issue, but the second issue does start explaining it. So it starts off with Lynch over at IO, International Operations. We saw a version of this scene in the first issue. They fill it out. So all the time jumping shit's done. And at the end of the last issue, the Wildcats were just now forming together with Grifter and Zealot, and they were fighting these Daemonites and shit, and the building blew up. What happened? So what happened is that Void's trying to teleport them out, but somehow one of the Psi soldiers for IO that is working for Lynch somehow has pulled them in to IO, so they make this very dramatic appearance in IO briefly, and this, of course, is mimicking the cover image. Not quite the cover image, but the Void thing is there. And then they wind up popping away. So then Lynch is like, what? And then they pop up in their spacecraft or their aircraft that's above ground to escape. But they mentioned that this soldier, his brain now has been fried. So the Wildcats are back on the ship, and they're just doing a lot of fucking talking. Once again, Brandon Choi is just fucking filling this shit up with dialogue, but it's also kind of got some interesting concepts that are in there. Like he was in law school. I think he was study politics at some point. Like he's layering this kind of stuff in, but it is kind of dry, and it's a weird juxtaposition against this amazing artwork. By the way, this page is badass, but it's actually a horizontal page in the book. It's not a double page splash, so that kind of sucks. But they wind up getting together. They're now meeting Grifter. They're now meeting Zealot. You're finding out more of the importance of Lord Imp. Voodoo is there. She's like, what the fuck is going on, right? Then we cut back to IO. Lynch finds out that this dude totally died, but they can somehow trace the psychic feedback and find out where the Wildcats are. So as the Wildcats are back to their base, and Jacob Marlowe is talking to them, and they're trying to just kind of make a plan about what to do, and we're starting to get these personalities and how they clash with each other. And then they know that there's a mole at a high level of government that the Daemonites and the Cabal, the bad guys, have working for them, right? Well, we found out at the end of the last issue that it's Vice President Dan Quayle, but Dan Quayle's on TV. Voodoo sees him. She can see Daemonites. She's like, he's the fucking Daemonite. He must be the mole. So now they know it's Dan Quayle. And I love this bit, too, where Jacob's like that knucklehead or some shit like that. So then Voodoo's like, yo, I don't even know what's going on. They're trying to formulate a team here. Zealots like me and Grifter, we're here at your disposal because you are Lord Imp. So they haven't really revealed much about the Coda or any of that stuff or her connection to Grifter. That's all going to come later, but we are getting the team together. And then Voodoo's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. So here's the page with a lot of dialogue, big info dump. Zealot basically explains, along with Jacob Marlowe, the whole thing. There are two alien races. They came to Earth ages ago. The Daemonites, the Cherubim, they are fighting against one another. The Cherubim have intermingled with humanity. There are now people that are offspring of humans and cherubim. These people have powers. People like Warblade, people like Voodoo, people like Maul. So we're starting to get the idea. The Daemonites take people over, use them as hosts. So now we got the gist. This should have been given to us in the first issue, but in all of the text in the first issue, they couldn't deliver it. But here in one page, they just give it all to us. So, it works. Let's move on. Then we go back to the Cabal. They are trying to open a dimensional warp into the Daemonite world that's going to allow them to have this full invasion of Earth, right? And then, so they're talking about this. It involves this orb. Void's been having these dreams and visions of this orb that they have to go and find. Meanwhile, at Wildcats headquarters, they're doing a sparring session between Maul and Warblade and Zealot. And Zealot's kind of kicking their asses. And then they get invaded by I.O., International Operations. They come in, so we get this nice snazzy fight scene. This is a really nice double-page splash in that 90s Jim Lee style. Wildcats in action against I.O. This is one of those really muddy, just orangey brown pages. The coloring is okay when you read it. In print, on screen, it's a little bit different. I don't know. It's okay. Voodoo displays a little bit more of an edge to her here, but then gets kind of captured by this dude. But then Jacob Marlowe shoots the dude in the fucking kneecaps. I love this bit. Then Lynch shows up. Jacob knows Lynch. There's this whole history that we haven't quite gotten to yet. But basically, he's like, look, we're all on the same side. Tell me who the mole is, and I will tell you where to go and find them as they're trying to develop this project. What do they call it? Reunification. And that's where they're trying to take this orb, this energetic orb, and breach a portal open to the Daemonite homeworld for the invasion. So then we clip to some of the Cabal being sent by Hellspawn to accompany Dan Quayle, who's actually a Daemonite, is hosting his body. But they're doing the big thing. Wildcats show up. It's crazy, but the alarms go off. They're anticipated. They think they've been betrayed by I.O., but we're going to find out that it's something different. Another great double-page splash right here. Spartan comes in. He's about to just tear ass. We're getting a little bit more information about Maul, about his size shifting and how that affects his intelligence, but it's not laying it out there yet. But there's a part of me that kind of thinks that's cool. Meanwhile, Dan Quayle has said he has bodyguards. He doesn't need the Cabal. Well, as the Wildcats are about to actually beat the bad guy and stop the evil villainous plot, who are those guards? It's fucking Youngblood. So Youngblood shows up. And then at the end, we find out that this dude, Gnome, who sold some information to Jacob Marlowe in the first issue, he's actually the big mastermind behind everything. He's the one who sold them out. He's the one orchestrating everything, and he's got Coda members on his side. What's going on? We'll find out more in the wrap-up of the first story arc, Wildcats number 3, next time on Image in the 90s. But let's go through this one more time. Just look at the artwork. The artwork's pretty solid. Coloring could be a little bit better. It's very orange, very brown, but it does still have some pops of some purples. But it doesn't really do much to differentiate the foregrounds from the backgrounds. But the line art by Jim Lee is solid. This could have very much been an X-Men book. Spartan is cool. Grifter is cool. I love all of the designs. I loved this book back in the day, and I still like it. I would give this second issue, I would give it a 3.5, honestly. It does have some info dumps, but at other things, it's not laying things out, but it's doing it in a more clever way. But in other times, it's just laying it all out. Luckily, we got some gorgeous Jim Lee artwork to look at. I think Hellspawn is a fantastically designed villain. I like some of the interplay between the different personalities that are making up this new team. It happens rather quickly, but that's how these things go. So all in all, I think the artwork's fine. Coloring could be a little bit better. Story is fine. Could be a little bit more executed, a little bit better. But overall, I still think it's fun. I'd give this one a 3.5, a decent enough follow-up, and you would be hooked after 2 issues, and I would want to come back to see them face off against Youngblood. So here is the issue that I read. Like I said, that foil cover, it's great. Got that cool ad right there for, was it American Comics? Entertainment This Month. What the hell is it called? Anyway, notice how the Executioner storyline, how it's spelled there. But I like it. It's fine. Like I said, in print, the colors work a little bit better, but it is still a little bit muddy color-wise, but it's still kind of a fun. There's that panel I was telling you about, or that page. Dope page, but man, that should have been double page splash. Quality of the book is nice. Cardstock cover, obviously. Newsprinty paper. They hadn't switched the glossy stuff yet. Not for this, at least. The artwork, though, was great. Look at all those words on that page. That's a big info dump. But still exciting and vibrant and fun. And at the end here, we got the ad right here. Here's a shit thing that I hate. They got the ad right here, the coupon to get image 0. And it's right in the fucking middle of the big, giant centerfold splash page. So it's like, I don't want to rip that out, but at the same time, I want to fucking rip that out. But it's still Jim Lee artwork. And then at the end, we got a preview of Wetworks. And then the editorial at the beginning is Jim Lee speaking about how sorry that this book is 4 to 5 months late. As all the Image books were, but then he blames it on the birth of his kid. But you got to have that cool foil cover. Love it. And when you think foil, and you think Jim Lee, and you think Wildcats, you know what you think of? You think of Image in the 90s. All right, y'all, we'll be right back here on Pop Culture Philosophers for Rockin Robbie Live. And when we come back, we're revealing the Action Fest lineup and accepting nominations for the Action Fest 2022 poll. Top 5 movies of 2007. And we're totally talking Turtles tonight. All that and more when we return on Rockin Robbie Live.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't playing no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hey everyone, it's Rex over at Dynamic Forces. Join us this Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on The Experience with me, Rockin Robbie, and my buddy John for comic talk and some great slab comics, signed comics, and cover sketch art by Ken Hazer and others. So join us Monday night, 6 to 8.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers, the show where we gather and talk about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We looked back at our favorite comic books of last week. We looked ahead at what was coming up in shops this week, including the DC sneak peek. We did a Tai Chi Master movie review, the 1993 Kung Fu cinema classic. And then we did Image in the 90s, Wildcats #2 by Jim Lee, Brandon Choi, and company, Scott Williams as well, of course. Now we're about to be getting into the reveal of the Action Fest lineup for this year. Top 5 movies from 2007, and we're totally talking Turtles tonight. You can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com, and you can support the channel at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right here, or with Super Chat tonight, but just being here and participating, liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that is support enough. Tomorrow night on PCP Movie Night, we're talking about Saint Maud. It's Mike's pick for Crew's Choice. That's at 8 p.m. Central Time. Then we're going to be spoiler talking Episode 3 of Miss Marvel with the Bad Batch. That's Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. And I may be in Heroes Con, but Dylan's horror show's rolling on without me. They're going to be talking about Tobe Hooper's Eaten Alive on Saturday night. So hell yeah. How is everybody doing? Steph says, Robbie, you got folk having selfie raves. A little bit of ecstasy. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Steph says 300 has to be top 5. Transformers. I have a soft spot in my heart for Spidey 3. Brother Joe says, I just want to say, one hell of a day. All right, y'all, let's get into it. It's time for the Action Fest lineup. So we got Saint Maud tomorrow, and then we're wrapping up Crew's Choice with Brian's pick, Isle of Dogs. Then we're taking a week off because that Monday is 4th of July, so why? Why? You know, nobody's going to watch us. And we're going to be busy doing 4th of July things, right? But Action Fest does start July 11th. And it kicks off with Lethal Weapon. This will be a franchise review. We will be talking Lethal Weapon, Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 3, and Lethal Weapon 4. That's all on July 11th for the Action Fest kickoff. Then the next week, July 18th, we got The French Connection, William Friedkin classic starring Gene Hackman. And then on the 25th of July, we got The Golden Child, starring Eddie Murphy. On October 1st, we have the results, the winner of the Action Fest poll. We're about to get to that. On August 8th, we got Commando, the Schwarzenegger classic, written by Jeff Loeb. And then we wrap it all up August 15th with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and this is a franchise review. So we will be talking about the 3 original films, the animated TMNT films, and the 2 new ones. So to recap, Action Fest starts July 11th with the Lethal Weapon franchise review. Next week, The French Connection. Week after, The Golden Child. Week after, who knows? The poll winner. Week after, Commando. Week after, the finale. All of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live-action theatrical movies. Oh, and the animated TMNT as well. One more time, run it through. Lethal Weapon. French Connection. The Golden Child. Poll winner. Commando. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right. So now we got 10 spots open for the Action Fest movie poll starting now. Boom. Throw out an action movie that you would like to put on the poll. We'll put it on the PCP poll that goes up this week in the PCP Army on Facebook. So I need to hear right now, what movies do you want to put on the polls? Seems like most people are pleased with the lineup. Is Running Scared your pick? Okay, Running Scared. Is that an action movie? You're talking about the new one, right? With Paul Walker? Is that the one you're always talking about, Twitch? First movie in, we got 10 spots. Throw out a movie. True Lies, that's a good one. Brother Joe's going Commando that night. Yeah, the Paul Walker forgot you. Kid Cloud Kicker says The One. Purple Rain doesn't count, Taki. You know it. Blast with Eddie Griffin. All right. The Bodyguard doesn't count, Taki. You know that. Kung Fu Hustle I've already talked about here on Rockin Robbie Live, so I'm not going to do that one. Terminator 2. Okay. One day we'll do a franchise review, but I'll put it on there. Midnight Run. 4 more spots. Hero, I already did on this on the Rockin Robbie Live, so we're not going to do that. Same with Iron Monkey. Four more spots. Curse of the Golden Flower. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's a good movie. Total Recall. I guess, yeah, that counts. Hard Boiled. All right, we got it. That's it. So the Action Fest movie poll, which will be up on the PCP Army very shortly. Running Scared, True Lies, The One, Blast, Terminator 2, Midnight Run, Curse of the Golden Flower, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Total Recall, and Hard Boiled. It'll be one of those. Hell yeah. All right, since everybody was so eager to get into it, let's do it. Top 5 movies of 2007, go. For my honorable mentions, we're going Once. Really great. It's kind of a musical, but it's not like a musical like you think. But I really like it. A really good film that I think is super solid. So Once, then High School Musical 2, which is a musical like you think. Then I'm going to give an honorable mention to The Mist, a great Stephen King adaptation. I'll give an honorable mention to Sweeney Todd, There Will Be Blood, and Eastern Promises. So at number 5, I've got Hostel Part 2, and I don't need to explain myself anymore. Y'all know how much I love the Eli Roth Hostel films. This is probably my favorite out of the two that he did. I fucking love this movie. Gives me Fulci vibes. We talked about it on Dylan's Horror Show on the Eli Roth Spotlight. At number 4, I got Hairspray. I really love this fucking musical based on the John Waters film, but the musical brings life to my spirit. Like, when I watch this, it's like coming out of a good church session back in the day, man. I just feel good, and I feel positive. And I love this movie, and it's saying something, and it's got some dope-ass music. It's flashy. It's awesome. At number 3, I'm going The Darjeeling Limited. Might be one of my favorite Wes Anderson films. This movie is great. Adrian Brody, Jason Schwartzman, and Owen Wilson, they play 3 brothers. Their relationship's not on the best ground. They wind up on a train together on a long journey. Fucking one of my favorite train movies. We talked about this last night when we talked about Horror Express. This is my favorite train movie. So The Darjeeling Limited. At number 2, Trick or Treat. We covered this on Dylan's Horror Show for Horror Fest a couple years ago. This is the best movie about Halloween that there absolutely is. I fucking love this movie. It's an anthology, but all the stories tie together. It's got great performances. Such a good movie for Halloween. And at number 1, No Country for Old Men. This won the Academy Award that year. Well-deserved. One of my favorite Coen Brothers films. One of my favorite neo-westerns. I adore this film, and it is my favorite movie of 2007. I'm a fan of the book. The movie is just like the book, pretty much, and it's so well done. A chilling performance by Javier Bardem, and absolute brilliant stuff as well from Tommy Lee Jones and Josh Brolin. So to recap, for 2007, my honorable mentions are Once, High School Musical 2, The Mist, Sweeney Todd, There Will Be Blood, and Eastern Promises. And at number 5, Hostel Part 2. At number 4, Hairspray. At number 3, The Darjeeling Limited. At number 2, Trick or Treat. And at number 1, No Country for Old Men. What are your top 5 movies of 2007? So let's take a look at what people are saying. Fable says, Superbad, American Gangster, The Golden Compass, No Country for Old Men, and 30 Days a Night. Solid list. Steph says, 28 weeks later, TMNT, 300, Transformers, and Spidey 3. Bruh, do you like comics? Good list. William says, Sweeney Todd, Hot Fuzz, Death Proof, The Mist, and 300. Steph then says, take out Spidey 3, insert Hot Rod. Missing Link also says, take out 28 weeks, insert No Country. Can't believe I forgot about that one. Twitch says, number 5, Juno, 4, Reign Over Me, 3, No Country for Old Men, 2, Superbad, number 1, Stardust. Joram says, not a Roth fan. What am I saying? I love his ass. Figure Drawing says, Disturbia is classic. Yeah, the Matthew Vaughn Stardust. That's a good movie. Everything Comics says, No Country for Old Men, 300, 310 to Yuma, American Gangster, and Superbad. 62 Lefty Blue says, Hot Fuzz, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, Beowulf, Shoot 'Em Up, and Pathfinder. 310 to Yuma is a good pick. I like that. Figure Drawing says, There Will Be Blood, dope. Bobby's like, Trick or Treat. Joram says, No Country. Moni says, Disturbia, American Gangster, Planet Terror, Death Proof, Mr. Brooks, and Superbad. Yep, Grindhouse is 2007 as well. And technically, y'all, I think 300 is a 2006 film. It was released in 2007, but I believe it is it's a 2006 film. It's the way it's copywritten. But it depends on what your criteria is for movies of the year. Fargate says Ghost Rider? Interesting. Those are some good ones, y'all. And don't think that we're getting out of here tonight without totally talking turtles tonight.
Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
Tonight we're talking about episode 4 of season 1, Hot Rodding Teenagers from Dimension X. This is the penultimate episode of season 1 of the Turtles. So when we return from our brief break here on Rockin Robbie Live, we will be talking about the finale. But once again, picks up right where the last episode left off. They are in the Baxter Stockman vehicle that they stole from him. They're in the van. They're driving. They go to his old lab. He's got a lab at the top. They literally have no other way to do this, so they push the fucking van up the stairs. They get up there, and Donnie starts converting Baxter Stockman's van with all this technology into what will become the Turtle Party van. Meanwhile, in the Technodrome, we got Krang bitching once again at Shredder that he's not built himself a body and he's wasting his time. Shredder doesn't give a shit, says, I'm going to use your portal to Dimension X to bring in some new technology to continue my war against the Turtles. And they continue their bickering and they're arguing. He's like, nah, do not open that portal. You don't know what's going to come through. Meanwhile, back with the Turtles in April, Donnie has finished converting that turtle van into the party wagon. So there you go. They stole this from Baxter Stockman. They stole all of his technology and they made this. Donnie made this in like fucking 15 minutes, y'all. Dude's a fucking genius. He does machines. Then we got Shredder. He's joined by Bebop and Rocksteady, and they're going to open the gate to Dimension X, and out of the gate come the neutrinos, the hot-rodding teenagers from Dimension X. And so most of us are familiar with these stories. They got these cool hot rod cars that like fly and shit. They zoom through, and then also we get the Rock Soldiers. 2 of the Rock Soldiers, including General Trag, who did have an action figure. I don't know if the other one did. I had the Trag action figure, though. So they show up. Bebop and Rocksteady are getting in a fight with them. They're fighting back, and in all of this commotion, the neutrinos escape the Technodrome and make it to the surface. So Shredder's like, y'all, we're all on the same side. I need your help. They're like, it doesn't matter. We got to go find these fucking neutrinos. They're like criminals on Dimension X. We got to find them. On their way trying to get out, they run into Krang. Krang's like their leader, so they like totally worship him, and they're like all like in awe of him. And meanwhile, on the surface, the neutrinos are going crazy. They almost crash into the turtle van, so the turtles start tracking them, trying to figure out what's going on. They think that this is somehow connected to the Technodrome and to Shredder. So when they do find the neutrinos, they attack them, they get onto their flying vehicles, and we get a pretty cool action sequence here that's actually animated very well for this show. But then at the end, they eventually realize that they're all on the same side. They hear their story, and they take them to an arcade to play games and to prove to the neutrinos that they like fun as well. Because in Dimension X, everybody is always making war. Well, they don't want to make war. They're not joiners. They just want to have fun. So they're ostracized in society because of it. So we get the sad story. Meanwhile, they get attacked in this arcade, and it, of course, is the Rock Soldiers, who have been equipped by Krang and Shredder to go and take out the neutrinos and the Turtles, so the Turtles have to fight back. And remember, Turtles fight with honor. So there's a really cool action sequence here. Really cool animation. You get to see the turtle van do all the little bells and whistles. The cops show up. The Turtles and the neutrinos just dip. They leave, leaving the cops to face the Rock Soldiers on their own. The Rock Soldiers have this device. It's like a weather manipulator. They turn it up. So you see the different settings. Fair with high clouds. Mild showers. Total chaos. Then they throw it up into the air. It starts working. Then the Turtles have taken the neutrinos to Splinter to get some information, or to get some advice, I should say. They then decide that the best thing to do would be to somehow get the Rock Soldiers back through the portal, and the neutrinos need to go back as well, even though they kind of like it here on Earth and there is a friendship budding. We'll probably see more of those pesky kids. Meanwhile, when they go back up to the surface, it's snowing in June. They can't decide quite what's going on, but they ignore it for now. They make their way to the Technodrome. Donnie decides he's going to start trying to figure out how to open up this portal. And while that happens, the Rock Soldiers, Shredder, Krang, Bebop, Rocksteady, they attack. And then a fight ensues. There's a really great spotlight in this last act of this episode for Leonardo. Each turtle kind of gets their spotlight in a different episode of this first season of Turtles. So you get another cool action sequence. Long story short, they get the rock soldiers back through the portal. The neutrinos decide they need to go back as well, so they go back into Dimension X. They shut off the portal, and Shredder and Krang and the rest have escaped, and then all of a sudden there's this crazy commotion. What's going on the surface? Well, total chaos. So the weather machine is going fucking ballistic. They fly up, and because the neutrinos left one of the vehicles there, one of the flying hot rods. So Leo makes this awesome leap, slashes the device in half, ends the storm. Donatello swoops down, catches him in the car, and that's pretty much the episode. And then at the end, we finally have Shredder relinquish his will to Krang and agrees to build him a body. Meanwhile, the Turtles are being read story time, bedtime stories by April. She's actually reading them the story of the tortoise and the hare. And then after they go to sleep, Leo shows up cleaning his sword and says, "We're going to find Shredder tomorrow and end this once and for all." And that was Hot Rodding Teenagers from Dimension X, leading into the final episode of Season 1, the miniseries for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles next time on Rockin' Robbie Live. You know we are going to be totally talking Turtles.
Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
So there you go. Circumstances says, I completely forgot about the dome the bad guys used to roll in. Man, the Technodrome, I want one so bad. After Turtles, are you reviewing the Silver Surfer? No. After Turtles, I'm going back to X-Men, doing Season 2 of X-Men. Oh, I thank you, Joram. Says Rockin' Robbie's killing the synopsis. Yeah, General Trag. I have that toy. It's actually in here. I have to bring it out one day. Maybe for when we come back for show and tell to go along with the Totally Talking Turtles for the final episode of Season 1, I'll just show you all my turtle stuff. You're like, okay, I'll build you a body. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. He's a mighty, mighty good man. Fuck yeah, man. In Vogue, Salt and Pepper, come on. Bobby says, I need some more neutrinos in my diet. You know it. Once again, I want to roll through that Action Fest lineup. Look at that. Lethal Weapon franchise review. The French Connection. The Golden Child. The winner of the Action Fest poll. Commando. And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. All right. Time for show and tell. So last week at the post credits where I opened up my Scourge and I got him transformed, and it was actually a way easier transformation than I thought. So I still haven't bought my sweeps because it's the same fucking figure, just a different color. But I'm probably still going to fucking get it. Regardless, that's actually pretty cool. I like it. So he's like this like boat-looking spaceship. Cool transformation, though. It was pretty easy. I liked it. Got some new movies this week. Just a couple. Picked up House 2 on the Arrow Special Blu-ray. I haven't gotten one yet, but Amazon had this really cheap with a coupon, so I had to pick it up. I loved that movie when I was a kid. And I picked up this dope edition of The Changeling with a foil embossed slip. And it's the 2-disc set, which comes with the score. And the score on this movie is great. George C. Scott Ghost Story. If you've never seen The Changeling, watch it. You may be seeing us talk about it sometime soon here on Rockin' Robbie. I got this a few weeks ago, but I never showed it off. But Jim Mahfood had a limited edition release of One Dangerous Donut, issue number 1. So it's a bunch of pinups and a little bit of some comics. And it is printed on like newsprint and like huge. This is like a newspaper. So Jim Mahfood is one of my favorite artists and creators out there. I'll get to meet him again this upcoming Heroes Con as well as Ed Piscor and Jim Rugg. That's super cool. I'll show you some of the stuff in here. So this was available on his website. I think there's only 500 of them. I don't know if he still has some available, but you can check out his website if you want to know more. Let's show you some more art in here. And he's got comics in here too. And it's a newspaper, so it like folds out and shit. Or what I should say is it's all printed on these big papers and then they're folded in together. So you could pull them out. So it's hard to kind of show off. But look at that shit. That's Jim Mahfood fucking goodness right there. I love the Jim Mahfood Beastie Boys Paul's Boutique ash can thing. Yeah, I've seen that, but I've never seen it. You get what I'm saying? I've seen it on bits. I've seen stuff online from it, but yeah, that Studio 86 series is really good. All right, show these off on Dylan's Horror Show, but I'll show them off. I got the newest edition of the EC Archives from Dark Horse. They're doing them in paperback now, so I'm going to show you the so far complete collection. These are all $20 each, highly affordable. You got to check them out. Haunt of Fear, Volume 1, introduction from Robert Englund. Shock Suspense Stories, Volume 1, introduction from Steven Spielberg. Way cheaper than the hardcovers. Vault of Horror, Volume 1, introduction by R.L. Stine. I was talking last night on Dylan's Horror Show. The introductions are worth it alone. This is the newest one, so I just picked this one up this week. Vault of Horror, Volume 2, introduction by John Landis. You got to have Tales from the Crypt, Volume 1, intro by John Carpenter. Next Rockin Robbie Live, we're talking about his third film. Tales from the Crypt, Volume 2, intro from Joe Dante. Why didn't I just bring these over? Weird Science, Volume 1, intro from George Lucas. So this is the complete paperback library so far. They got a lot more in hardcover. But if you just want something cheap, check them out. And the reproduction is incredible on these. They really, really work. These are some of the best comics out there of all time. All time. So I have been wanting to read The Long Tomorrow by Mobius for a long time. Brian let me borrow one of his Mobius books. Epic Collection, or Epic Comics from Marvel did a whole Mobius collection back in the 80s. And it's still some of the definitive Mobius collection. But they're out of print, hard to get. But he let me borrow his Mobius 4 from Epic that contained The Long Tomorrow. And I read it. And as soon as I was done, I immediately ordered my own. This was a bit pricey, more than I would want to pay. But I got it cheaper than other people were selling it for. But I do want to get all of these. And then Kayfabe just released another Mobius video today, and that's Mobius 3. And I'm like, damn it, those prices are going to go up. But The Long Tomorrow is incredibly well done. This book is awesome. I wanted to read this one because I'm a big Jeff Darrow fan. And Jeff Darrow had done an episode of Cartoonist Kayfabe where they asked him to talk about his favorite Mobius book, and they talked about this one. So like in this one, like our detective noirish hero is like interrogating this dude, and he doesn't want to kill him, so he lets him go. And he's like, this shuttle's about to launch, and he's like, run. And he's like, I won't make it. He's like, run. So he just makes this dude fucking run, and then shit's awesome. But it's got a bunch of other things in there as well. So this was a bit pricey, and it will be pricey to get this collection, but I think it'll be well fucking worth it. So Mobius, hell yeah. And that is Show and Tell, which brings us to the what? 905. 62 Lefty Blue says, I got that in the original heavy metal run. I was noticing in that they're flipping through their heavy metals. They crop it. And this one actually has the hand-drawn French sound effects in it. So I like that a little bit more. And I like when they found out, if you watch the video, they found out that it was cropped. There's a bit, there's a dick in that page, but there's a bit where that's like the coolest shit. This is a really good book. They really need to figure some shit out and get his stuff reprinted again. his whole collection reprinted. All right, final 5. Going through, we last left on some shitty Spider-Man movies. Let's get to a good one. Spider-Man Homecoming. One of my favorite MCU films. One of my favorite Spider-Man films right there. Then we got Spider-Man Far From Home. This one was all right, but I actually owe this a revisit. I don't have No Way Home yet. I haven't gotten that one. There's Spiral. This is a movie directed by Adam Green and Joel David Moore. I fucking love this movie. We did a whole Adam Green special on Dylan's Horror Show, and I had never seen this movie. And I watched it, and I immediately had to have it. This movie is fucking awesome. This movie's really good. And then to wrap up, we're going to get into Star Trek territory now. There's my Star Trek TOS Season 1 on Blu-ray, where you can toggle between the old school effects or the new ones, the new remasters. So that's nice. And of course, along with that, I got Volume 2. I do have 3, but we're going to have to leave that for next time because this is the 5, and that has been your... What? Final 5. All right, and with the Final 5, that is the show. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. We had a blast tonight. Heroes Con is this weekend. It's going to be super fun. So we're taking probably at least 2 weeks off on Rockin Robbie Live. We won't be here for 4th of July weekend, but we may be doing the monthly show then. I still got to iron that out because it's a holiday weekend and schedules and shit. But we're going to figure that out soon. But right now, Heroes Con is my focus, obviously. So we're out for like a couple weeks, but when we come back, Someone's Watching Me by John Carpenter, Wildcats number 3 by Jim Lee and Scott Williams and Brandon Choi, and more show and tell, more goodness, more top 5 movies of 2008. We're about to get into the nitty gritty. We really do appreciate everything from everybody. Once again, tomorrow night, Saint Maud on PCP Movie Night, 8 p.m. Central Time. We'll be talking about Miss Marvel Episode 3 with The Bad Batch, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. And Dylan's Horror Show, Eaten Alive, on Saturday night. All right, y'all, it's been real, and it's been fun, and gosh darn it, it's been real fun. We're dipping out. Remember, wherever you go, there you are. Thanks for rocking with us. Station, pop, pop. Boom.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
How is it supposed to feel? Well, I'll tell you what. I didn't even show y'all the coolest part of this One Dangerous Donut. Is it's got a remark and a signature from Jim Mahfood in pencil. Can I get it to focus? As we need a better webcam eventually. But it's a little fish dude. And it says Mahfood. And it's numbered 313 out of 500. So yeah, 500 of these made. They all have a little sketch from Mr. Mahfood. There it is. Look at that. I'm a big fan of this dude. I met him like in 2002. So he ain't gonna remember me, but look at that shit, y'all. Dude's a beast. Uses OG fucking screen tones. Splatter. See all that right there on the cover. Mixed media. I fucking love it. I fucking love it. All right. We're doing a taste test. Got a new Mountain Dew flavor. Mike the Voice Matthews always hooks me up with these taste tests. I think they did this last year, so we may have already done this, but I don't remember it. But this is Mountain Dew Baja Gold. It's a pineapple Mountain Dew, which sounds like it'd be good. It's very translucent. It's more translucent than any other Mountain Dew, so it kind of looks like cleaner. But can't be too bad, right? Yeah, it's good. It's good. Baja Blast is back in stores. Baja Gold, there's another Baja. I don't remember what it is. But this one works. Actually, last year, I think they did one that was pineapple and coconut. I didn't like that because I don't like pineapple coconut, pina colada kind of shit. I don't like that. But this, it's good. It ain't as good as Livewire. Ain't as good as regular Dew. I give it 4 out of 5, you digs. Not bad. I will finish that for show. All right, we out. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth. Y'all have a good one. We're dipping out for 2 weeks here at Rockin Robbie Live, but don't forget weekly comic book review. It's never going anywhere. We'll be right back. No, we won't. We're done. Sorry. Love you. Y'all have a good one. Where's the button?